You are Locked On Eagles POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Philadelphia, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
That's right. It is the Locked On Eagles postcast. Harry Mayes, Jason Myrtetus. Instant reaction once again to an Eagle victory. Instant reaction to an NFC East championship clinching victory. An instant reaction to, they beat the Cowboys. What's going on, H?
Well, yeah, it's always great when you can beat the Cowboys, and especially, on a day at home, wearing the Kelly green jerseys. They finally wore the Kelly greens against a team that matters. I think last year they wore them twice, and they were both against AFC East teams. It's like, it's nice when you break that out against a division opponent that you just loathe in the Cowboys. And not only do you wear them, you beat their ass 41-7, including Tanner McKee going for 2 touchdowns.
Not Don McKee.
No, not Don McKee. Although Don might have had one today too if he'd have played.
He was the backup to the backup to the backup, Harry.
You're right. I mean, how many turnovers did it end up being? Like 4 turnovers, I think they forced. They forced 5 last week and lost the game. Today, this game was
5 again today.
Was it 5 today? Because the last I saw it was 4 when Cooper DeJean picked up a fumble. But C.J. Gardner-Johnson with the pick 6 going 70 yards gets him on the board. And then, because Dallas was really moving the ball well in that first drive. And then he threw that pick that you described. And then they got the ball back and they moved the ball again and tied the game up. They went 70 yards in 12 plays, did the Cowboys. And you're thinking, boy, we got a football game here today. Yeah. And it took until 12 minutes and 8 seconds left in the second quarter for the Eagles to get their first down as an offense, and it came via penalty. Not, it wasn't even like a regular play. So that's how the offense really did nothing early on in this game, and the whole game changed at the end of the first half. Dallas has the football, and they're near midfield with less than a minute to play in the first half. The Eagles are getting the ball back for the second half. They deferred again. So Dallas has the ball, and they're moving the football, and all of a sudden Cooper Rush on third down throws the ball up for grabs. He just chucked it like it was a punt. Yep. And there's 3 Eagle defenders in the play, 1 Dallas receiver who's not a big guy either. It was one of their smaller receivers. Was it Cooks? Yeah, okay. And they intercept it. And the Eagles ended up getting what I think a touchdown out of that drive before the end of the half, got the ball in the second half, kicked a field goal, game over.
Yep.
That was all on Cooper Rush and a stupid play.
Yeah, that
the Eagles benefited from. Oh, he's awful.
He is just terrible.
Awful. Yeah, the fact that they don't have another quarterback that's better than him is astonishing.
Especially with the volatility of Dak Prescott and his availability over the last couple of years.
Right. Yeah.
You got to prepare for that.
Yeah.
Jared's not paying attention to the backup.
No.
He's too caught up in his black label.
I don't know how this team beat Tampa Bay last week. Did the Cowboys. That's just, it's just the NFL, I guess. It's just crazy.
But didn't they win 4 of their last 5, though?
Yeah, they have. But,
I mean,
I don't know that they beat anybody good.
Yeah.
But, beating Tampa Bay, I think Tampa Bay's a pretty good team.
Tampa won today.
Yeah, they won big today. But, and you lock up the division, too, with this win. Now, next week, it totally doesn't matter against the Giants. But, you don't have to play Jalen Hurts, I guess, next week if you don't want to, although it will be quite a long way. If he's cleared. He's got to be cleared first in order for them to be able to even play him. But if they don't want to, they don't have to play him, which is nice. You can rest Saquon Barkley. I'm sure you play him a little bit so he gets a couple yards against his old team again.
Yeah, but Harry's 101 yards away from NFL history.
Oh, then then he's got to want to play, different. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then he's going to play.
I don't care about that stuff. Like, that's an individual achievement.
I don't either, but
this is a big one.
It is a big one. You're right.
It's been since '84 and Eric Dickerson.
Yeah.
And now, granted, he did it in less games, one less game, but I believe that Barkley, I saw John Barshard put out a tweet and said, you don't measure this based on games played. You measure it based on carries. And Barkley, I think, had 22 or 23 less carries going into today's game than Eric Dickerson had.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I think that's a good way to base it.
Yeah, and that was 1984.
Yeah, I think it was 84 when he set the record.
Wow.
And he Barkley became the 9th player in NFL history to go over 2,000 yards today.
Yeah.
Because again, like he was just picking up little 2-yard gains, and then all of a sudden, again, he just wears you down, and that line wears you down. 31 carries, 167 yards. It's
no touchdowns. His long was 23 yards, averaged about 5.5 yards a crack. What did you think of Pickett today?
I thought he was. I mean, obviously in the beginning they come out and they run 3 pass plays on the first set of downs, and they go 3 and out.
3 and out. Yeah.
The second one they run 3 run plays and end up 3 and out.
Right.
But I thought he settled in once they added, again, like they do with Hurts. I don't know why they don't do this right away. Is once they add a little bit of pace to the offense and a little bit of hurry up, he seemed to get into a rhythm. He threw some really nice passes, Harry, especially to Devonte Smith.
The one to Devonte Smith for the touchdown in the corner of the end zone. He floated in there really nicely over the defender, and that was a good throw.
And it was a good read. He stepped up on that one too. Pressure was coming around high on him, and he just one step up and boom, let it go.
And then he had a big one, a 50-yarder to Devonte Smith. Also, and actually did a tush-push touchdown, did Kenny Pickett today.
On the second try, he got
On the second try,
The first one, his knee went down. I couldn't believe they called that, and then you see the replay from behind.
It's a good call. It was a good call.
It was. I don't know how these refs see some of the things they see in real time, but that was an excellent call.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, I mean, and again, you brought this up last week. When you're a team that knows that in 4th and a yard or 4th and maybe even 2, that you're almost automatically at a first down, you're charting plays based on an 8-yard first down.
Yeah, Greg Olson actually was the guy who said that last week on the broadcast, and I thought it was a great point because it's really 1st and 8. I mean, because this team with Hurts in there. Now there was a couple other times today early where they had what would have been 4th and 1, 4th and 2, where they punted, and had Hurts been on the field, they probably would have done a tush push.
Yeah.
And maintain possession. It's unbelievable. I mean, until the NFL takes it away, isn't it crazy that no other team has started to do this? And obviously they haven't perfected it, or other teams would be doing it.
Yeah, why aren't that's the most sincere form of flattery is imitation.
Yeah, sure.
Why aren't and we know every sports league is a copycat.
It's a copycat league. Yeah,
we'll start doing it.
Absolutely,
and especially if you got a big, powerful quarterback, and there's teams that have
like a Josh Allen up in Buffalo. You would think Buffalo would do it.
Yeah,
Yep,
I totally agree with you. I just the fact that we don't see any teams, none,
right,
do it except for the Eagles is astounding to me because this isn't new. This has been going on a couple of years.
I know. What is this, like the third year?
Yeah.
Probably of this? Yeah.
I mean, last year it obviously really took off. And then everybody thought, and Greg Olson brought this up today, well, Jason Kelsey's retiring. The tush push isn't going to work anymore because it all starts with the snap.
Well, that was a one. We were wondering what that would look like. And this Cam Jurgens is a hell of a player.
He's an animal, too.
He really is.
Very much like Kelsey, where he'll get down the field. And again, like the game today, Harry, my biggest takeaway is the Eagles team just overwhelms most opponents because there's just so many weapons. Like we talked about Barkley. We touched on Devonte Smith, who I thought was excellent today.
Well, yeah, Dallas obviously came into this game determined to take away A.J. Brown as best they could.
Yeah.
And, okay, take him away. I got this guy.
Yeah. If you're going to take one away, we're going to beat you with the other guy. Usually in sports, in team sports, you go, okay, we're going to take this away from you. And if you beat us with this other guy, we go, okay.
I can live with it. Right. Yeah.
But with the Eagles, that's not an option, really. Because if it's not Devonte Smith, it's A.J. Brown. If it's not A.J. Brown, Alcantara had an unbelievable catch today.
34-yarder, yeah. There's the only catch he made.
Yeah.
Which is kind of surprising. I'd like to see them go to him a little bit more. I kind of like him.
I do too.
Yeah, I don't miss Goddard.
No,
I really don't.
When you win 41-7, you don't miss anybody.
Yeah, that's true. Fair point.
You're going to need Goddard. I think that's going to be a big element as you go into the playoffs. But they just seem to overwhelm teams. And like watching Lane Johnson, like he's been doing it forever at this point. I mean, the protection that he provides, the blitz pickup I thought that Barkley and Gainwell had on a couple of occasions was fantastic. I mean,
well, you talk about blitz pickup. That Calcaterra catch, the Cowboys sent, I think, 2 guys, and the Eagles blocked it up perfectly, and he was able to deliver that ball to Calcaterra for 34 yards.
Yeah.
That was a blitz.
It's one where Barkley chipped on the left side, and then Lane Johnson cleaned up on the right side with Mekhi Becton.
Yep.
It's just I don't know, man. Like this team is built unbelievably. It's going to be hard through the playoffs because, like you see, KC, they beat the snot out of the Steelers.
I was there.
Oh, were you at the game?
I was at the game.
Is that right,
Oh,
Harry?
yeah. Yeah, I was at the game.
That's breaking news.
Yeah, I tell you, watching Patrick Mahomes live was a treat. He's so good. So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like his ability to read the field. Like those little pitch passes that he does and stuff. You go, oh, he's dead here. And
yeah, he even had one of those Brett Favrean type of plays where he flipped it underhanded for a first down. He flipped it like 9 or 10 yards up the field to a receiver.
Yeah, like old Sandlot football.
Yep.
How was the stadium, the Heinz Field? I saw a game out there years ago.
Oh, I think it's good.
2000s against Baltimore. With my
nice.
father and my wife.
Yeah, it's nice.
Cool place, right? Good spot down there along the river.
We stayed right on the river at the Renaissance Hotel, which is right on the river, looking into the Pirates baseball stadium.
PNC Park.
And you're right there at Roberto Clemente Bridge.
Wow.
It was right out front of the hotel. Yeah, so you could walk anywhere in that town too, which was great.
You see, you're right at the confluence, Harry.
Correct.
Oh, you can get buckled down there.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about that.
Yeah.
That's cool that you were at the game down there in Baltimore or in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, yeah.
They took on KC, and KC is going to be a handful. I mean, we got to start looking at these teams that are going to come out of the other conference. We're going to take a quick time out, Harry. We're going to come back. We'll look at Pickett's numbers. And if they got to go with him next week, I don't think it's a big deal if you got to go with Pickett next week. We'll talk about that. We'll continue to talk about this Eagles offense, and we're going to touch on the defense too because they made some big, big plays. So we'll get to that coming up. It is the Locked On Eagles postcast. Back after this. All righty, let me tell you about Rocket Money. I have used Rocket Money. Why? Because it says save me money. Now, if Rocket Money, if it can help you find subscriptions you forgot about, or if you have kids, sometimes they subscribe to things that you don't know about. That's where it saved me. You might be paying for the same subscription twice, and you don't even know you're doing it. Well, I've had a few subscriptions. I had to peel off some things that I go, I didn't make a decision. Do I want to keep the subscription, or maybe I just cancel it altogether because you're just finding you're not using it. It's a great it's like a virtual personal assistant for your finances. It's a finance app that helps you find or cancel. You can do it right on the app. Unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings you everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, spending habits, even the goals you want to hit this year from a financial standpoint. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved over $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features.
It's a lot of dough.
It is a lot of money. And like you see your spending habits on there because it'll kind of put them together. Whether you go to a certain convenience store and you always go and you always slap the card down. You don't realize, then you see at the end of the month, you're like, dude, I just spent $650 getting hoagies
at fine wines and good spirits. yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you'll see that, Harry. That's called sustenance.
Exactly.
For me, one of the best features has been the subscription tracker. It is for a lot of people. And again, you can find out things that you're subscribed to multiple times and also things maybe you're just not consuming. So check it out. Rocket Money is fantastic. Get the app, cancel your unwanted subscriptions, and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. Go there today. All right, Harry.
I know you want to look at Pickett, too, Pickett, and then get to the defense. But what were Pickett's final numbers, Jason?
So on the day let me go back. I kind of been jumping around a little bit here. Didn't throw the ball a lot. The Eagles aren't a mass throwing team. He ends up throwing the ball 15 times, 10 for 15, $143, a touchdown through the air. The Devonte Smith would have had two, had Devonte kind of not let up on the one. And then obviously got pushed in for one as well.
Yeah, I mean, his rating was 119.6. How about Tanner McKee's rating is 156.2.
Wow. He's probably going to end his football career with that rating, too, if he doesn't get in next week.
That's unbelievable.
Third string quarterback.
It's just terrific.
He hadn't played in 2 years, hadn't taken a snap since 2 years ago at Stanford.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Wow. This Eagles under Howie Roseman, they've always considered themselves a quarterback factory, Jason.
You can't deny it. You can't argue with it at this point. The thing about Pickett is, the numbers aren't exactly eye-popping. The efficiency was there and everything. But to me, you go, okay, how did he look? How did he handle pressure?
Mm-hmm.
Other than the one kind of weird play where I didn't even see that he got his hand hit initially, I thought he looked good. I thought he had poise. He got outside the pocket, made a good play.
Yeah.
I think the only thing with him was he's got to learn how to protect himself a little bit better because he took some big hit. The one was way late.
Well,
that one was ridiculous.
And then he finally had to leave the game after getting hit by Parsons. Kind of got shoved by Micah Parsons and, re-injured that rib area, which he had injured against Washington the week before. I agree with you on that. But you could tell this week that they had a week to prepare him. Coming in cold off the bench in the first half of a game against Washington, he's not expecting to play. Took no snaps. He threw the one pick and everything. You expected, some rough edges to be exposed there. But today I thought he looked like he was coached up, and it was good to see. He's not great, but can he get you by in a pinch? I think he's good enough to do that.
Yeah, well, he came into the league with pedigree too. He's a first-round pick.
Yeah, I didn't agree with that.
Shaky.
He's not a first round. He's not a first-round player at that position.
I agree. One of the things you're going to get this week, Harry, is exactly what we just got here. I want to read this to you. A message that came in from Muttley. Not Muttley Crew, but Muttley says, so we found he's a Hurts hater. And there's people out here, and I don't understand it. I think they just want to complain about something. They're more comfortable in complain and negative mode than they are in happy mode.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia sports fans for years have never been comfortable in this position of, I guess we should be happy and kind of satisfied where things are. But Muttley says, so we found out that Hurts isn't the reason the tush push is successful, nor is Hurts the reason Saquon is a top rusher. What does Hurts do that makes the offense better? Looks like he slows down the offense, if anything. Dude, you're an idiot.
Well,
he doesn't slow down and the offense is better with Hurts.
With him, with the threat of running with the RPO is something else the defense has to account for, which they don't when Kenny Pickett.
Which thins out the D.
Exactly. So, I mean, this, that's not rocket science. That's just that's common knowledge. But anyway, I don't know how you can hate on him. I mean,
people just want to, Harry. I don't know why.
He's not a top 5 quarterback, and that's fine. They don't need a top 5 quarterback. Yeah, he wins.
Stop with it. He wins.
Yeah.
I mean, the team,
and he's not turning the ball over this year. Last year, he turned the ball over.
He did a little bit at the beginning of the year, and then you put the PIP in place for him, the performance improvement plan. We all know that if you don't adhere to the PIP, you end up on the sideline or fired. And when you put that on him, Harry, he heeded your advice, protected the ball.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't think that this offense is better with Jalen Hurts versus Kenny Pickett, I got nothing for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Seriously.
You're just being a hater to be a hater.
Yeah.
And look, the tush push today, it worked. They would have used it 5 other times in this game had Hurts been in it.
Yeah.
Hurts squats 600 pounds. Kenny Pickett probably squats 250.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which I can almost do.
Yeah, well, you could. In your day, you could.
No, now. I'm doing
okay.
squats now. I never did squats when I was a young buck.
Is that right? You're getting in the gym and doing squats?
Oh, yeah,
Harry?
twice a week. A week. Yeah. Hurts has 18 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions this year. Last year, he had 23 touchdowns and 15 interceptions.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
I mean, 15 interceptions is awful. Yeah. But, I mean, he's gotten back down to, an acceptable rate. And as far as his rushing, he's had 4 fumbles, and 2 of them were lost. So only 2 lost fumbles this year.
Yeah.
Last year, he lost 4 fumbles.
And a guy that gets out there running the ball a lot.
Yeah.
He's not your standard just quarterback, go back, throw it, and fumbles come that way. He gets out and runs the ball and has to protect it that way as well.
Yeah.
Sir Sketchable message and says, I'm more comfortable complaining as well, but Hurts is obviously very valuable. It's true. The reason why the Philadelphia sports fan is more comfortable in that mode is because there was 25 years of no championship in this town, which is, if there wasn't lockouts or missed seasons or the big thing in baseball, it would have been 100 pro seasons of no championship with the 4 majors. So I understand why. And anytime we got excited in this town, our hearts would be broken. But that stopped in 2008. Now, when the Phillies won.
Right. Now, you're going to want to talk about the defense, too, and so do I. because they got their butts kicked last week in Washington by a rookie quarterback.
Surprising.
And I could tell by today, like they had something to prove today. Like it was
up.
time to get back to being the Eagles of the first, 14, 15 games of the season. And C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I love this guy.
He's got tude.
He just makes plays, and I love the attitude. I know he got thrown out of the game last week, for saying something or doing something. I don't know what it was, but I love this guy. He embodies the whole personality to me of the defense.
Yeah, I agree. He's got swagger.
Yep, and he can make plays.
See, that's the thing. Some guys have swagger, but very little ability.
Right.
I mean, the first interception he had that was the pick six. Cooper Rush basically told him. He basically sent him not even an email, Harry, or a text. He sent him snail mail to let him know to be in that spot because he was going to throw it right there. He locked in on his receiver so tight. Mm-hmm. And then Johnson, as soon as I saw that it was a lineman he had to beat and he had some angle, I go, that's a touchdown.
Yeah.
He runs it back for the score. And then the other one later, there were two guys there. It was him and Quinyon Mitchell. But he was the guy just a little further.
Well, that was the one towards the end of the first half that I said changed the game. That's the one that changed the game. And how about the fact that was the first defensive touchdown for the Eagles of the season? Don't you find that stunning?
Wow, I didn't know
that was mentioned on the broadcast today. I wrote it down. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that Joe Davis, I think, said that.
Wow.
Joe Davis and Greg Olson again today. What did you think of that?
Well, look, I'd never like to have the same announcers 2 weeks in a row that are inferior because it really points out how inferior they are. You got to listen to them 2 weeks in a row. Again, I like Olson. He's decent.
Yeah.
That Joe Davis I could do without.
Yeah, I'm not a big Joe Davis guy.
It's not going to hamper any of my kind of experience watching the game.
Well,
Chris Myers ruins a game.
They took a beating from the Eagles fans over the week on social media.
Yeah,
and they saw it
against him. Yeah.
They saw it too.
Yeah.
They made mention of it.
That job's thankless to local fan bases because they call it down the middle and people see here down the middle as their
biased.
Team is getting skewered.
Right,
yeah.
Right, yeah. But crossing broad, I did them no favors.
Oh, yeah, of course not. Leave it to Kyle and those guys to kind of stoke the fire.
Doing their job. How about this Oren Burks cat?
Yeah.
That linebacker playing, getting his first start here for the Eagles. I think he was drafted a couple years ago by the Packers. I never even heard of him. And he forced a fumble.
Yeah.
That Jordan Davis ended up recovering. Do you see that? Do you see that pile, the melee in that pile?
I don't know what
and
was
he
going
was
on
at
in there.
The big guy was at the bottom of it, man. Nobody's taking that ball away from that guy.
Oh, man. I can't imagine, like, your grapes are getting squeezed down there. Fish hook in your mouth.
Terrible.
I can't imagine.
I love poked in the eye.
Oh, yeah. Anything they can do to get you to release your hands.
Yeah.
And think about it. There's a lot of things a lot of big boys can do.
Yeah.
I would have no part of being down at the bottom of that thing. Baldy's described that thing before, what goes on down there.
Right.
It's wretched.
Right.
But I get good performance again by the young guys. Quinyon Mitchell was good again.
Yep.
He's just like a blanket out there.
Cooper
he looks so calm.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, tell me you don't like this guy a lot. He's got a little bit of tude. Like he's afraid of getting guys' faces.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good fundamental tackler. I mean, you look at everything. There is nothing to complain about this week, and really much of this season has been that. So now the big question to me is just going into this week is is Hurts cleared?
Yeah,
and even if he is, do you play him? The Giants won today.
I was surprised by that. They beat the Colts with a backup quarterback. I mean, I know the Giants. I think had who played quarterback for the Giants today? I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean they're just such a non-factor team at this point.
They really are.
The New York teams. It's really kind of sad for a great market. Joe Flacco.
Drew Lock played for the Giants today.
Yeah,
against Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. I mean, what is this? Is this 2008, Harry? Joe Flacco's.
He threw 2 interceptions. Flacco did today.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Well, the Giants, they kind of emptied their tank today with a win. I don't think they're going to have much motivation just going against Saquon, who's got over 2,000 yards. It's like, what are you trying to prove?
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to shut him down in week 20 of the season when you've got 3 wins and he's got a shot at the NFL rushing record all time?
Yeah. See, now the Giants winning that game. Now they're tied, or I know there's tiebreakers and everything, but they have the same amount of wins now. That was their third win. They had the first pick of the draft locked down with 2 wins coming into today. So now
we'll see if Cleveland loses, they'll be tied with Cleveland, right?
Well, Cleveland has 3 wins. Tennessee has 3 wins. New England has 3 wins. And let me see if anybody else. That's it. So now there's a couple of teams there. They may not get the first pick.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Whoever the first pick's going to be is really hoping that they get another win and they're not the first pick because the organization's a mess.
Yeah, it really is.
To play in New York is obviously great, but
yeah.
Would you rather play in New York or Cleveland, though? Is the question.
I'd rather play in Cleveland.
I would, too. I went to Cleveland. I had a good time there. I thought that city, they've done a lot to that city.
Yeah, I'd rather play in Cleveland than New York.
Yeah.
I hate New York.
Yeah. Plus, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's in Cleveland. Did you go there?
I would.
I was in there. It was great.
Yeah.
I was in there for hours. I was by myself and just touring through, seeing Jimi Hendrix guitars, all kinds of stuff.
The Pro Football Hall of Fame's not far from there either, in Canton.
Canton.
Maybe an hour.
Yeah.
Outside of Cleveland.
All right. So the Eagles will wrap up the regular season next week with the Giants and a shot at Saquon Barkley beating Eric Dickerson's rushing record. All right, Harry, let's get a prediction in here out of you. Do you think that Saquon ends up with the individual rushing record topping Eric Dickerson's 1984 season?
And how many yards did you say?
101 to break it. 100 to tie,
yes.
101 to break it.
Yeah, he'll easily get that. And then when he gets it, they take him out of the game.
Yeah, and it does it in the first half.
Yeah, he'll break one. He'll break a big one for about 40, 50 yards.
Yeah, I could see like a 67-yard touchdown on the first drive.
And then just pull him out of there.
Yeah, get the record, get him out, get everybody rested, and we'll see where it goes. The couple of games that are on this afternoon, one is an absolute pile of dog you-know-what.
Well, that's the Miami-Cleveland game, yeah.
Yeah.
But the other one's good.
Yeah, Packers-Vikings.
I'm looking forward to watching that.
So need the Vikings to lose. Obviously, the Packers. Packers are an 11-win team. Vikings are 13-2. And then the Vikings play Detroit next week. So do the Eagles still have a shot here at the number 1 seed, or is that ship sailed?
No, that Detroit's got that pretty much locked down, I think, don't they?
Well, what if Detroit loses next week?
They play San Francisco on Monday night, or Sunday night or Monday night.
Yeah, they're third. So if they lose to San Francisco and lose to Minnesota, and Minnesota loses today and the Eagles win, then the Eagles will have it.
Then the Eagles could get it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not over yet.
Yeah. And a lot needs to happen in your favor, though, for them to get it. That's,
Frankly, with this Eagles team, I'm not incredibly worried about that.
It'd be better, though, to have home field if
Sure.
you have a dome team coming to you in late January. That's always an advantage.
I'm so excited for the playoffs. It's going to be fun. Like the matchups, and plus we get all these dog slop games out of the way. We don't need to see. You just get good football, wild card weekend, the whole thing. So it'll be
the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing. So yeah, we'll take it. Well, that was a whole thing win for the Eagles today. Beat the doors off the Cowboys. Need the Cowboys to get a little better. These games need to at least be competitive, Harry. That wasn't even competitive.
No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't. You're right. I mean, remember that year? I forget. Was it 2008, where Dawkins returned a pick 6 against the Cowboys, and they went on and beat them like 44-8 or something.
Yeah.
They beat the Cowboys at the Link.
They went to an NFC Championship game that year.
I believe. Yeah, I think that was the same.
Yep.
I think it was 2008. Yeah. Whenever you beat the snot out of the Cowboys, I don't care who plays quarterback. It's great.
Yeah. You just want to get that shot of Jarrow on the sideline.
Yeah. Was he there?
I didn't see him. I didn't see him on my telecast the entire look. If he was there, they didn't show him. That's bad work.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see him. I don't know. I'm sure he was there.
Yeah, I can't believe they didn't show him. Like they got to get a shot of him just being miserable because his team has been. I mean, his team has had some seriously lopsided losses this year.
Yeah, they're terrible. I still can't believe that they managed to beat Tampa Bay last week because.
Well, that 4 out of 5, they beat Carolina and they beat the Giants twice, and they beat.
Yeah, they're bad. They played a lot of bad teams.
Yeah, there are a lot of bad football teams in this league.
There are a lot of bad football teams.
Yeah.
All
right, let's wrap it up there. We'll be back next week. What time is the Eagles Giants game? Is that at 1 o'clock?
It's probably 1 o'clock right now. It's TBD.
Okay.
But because next week, week 18, there's going to be 2 games, I think, on Saturday, and then the rest of the schedule on Sunday, and then they'll find what the biggest game is and probably put it on at night.
Okay, so we'll see what that entails. But Eagles Giants next week to wrap up the regular season. Eagles clinch the NFC East today, so we'll be back next week with another Locked On Eagles postcast. Thanks for making Locked On Eagles postcast and Locked On Eagles just in general your first listen every day. For your second listen, go check out the new Locked On NFL with 2 shows every day. The Madman Tyler Rowland kicks off your morning with a double shot of NFL espresso, and then stop by the barbershop with Tony Wiggins. He's got some real NFL talk for you as well. Find Locked On NFL on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. Have a great week, everybody. We'll talk to you next week on the Locked On Eagles postcast.